Good evening, subhumans. It's Sop. Welcome back to another video. Today we got a man who instantly completed his entire Pokédex by eating undercooked pork. And it's one hell of a peculiar news article, believe me. Let me read the headline. Pick of a meal. More than 700 tapeworms found in man's brain and chest after he ate undercooked pork. And this is one of those news articles, if you read it, you probably will have to puke eventually, especially if you finish the news article. But it's worth finding out how exactly this man got 700 fucking different tapeworms. You know, not just a couple. I mean, we all get a couple if you go out drinking to some bar in the UK or whatever else, other country that's like very fucking nasty, and you drink out accidentally, or you get served a glass of somebody else, especially if it's a female who was like bulked up, goes to McDonald's often, and you drink out of that glass, you might also get a couple of tapeworms in your brain eventually. Or eating like doner kebab that's expired, but 700 fucking tapeworms. That's gotta be a world record. And like I said, he immediately completed his entire Pokédex, but let me continue. Let me continue with the article. This is from a little bit outdated, by the way, 27 November 2019. Doctors were left stunned when they examined a scan showing their patient's brain and chest was riddled with more than 700 worms. Zhu Zhongfa, 43, is believed to have ingested eggs of the parasite Taenia solium, better known as the pork tapeworm, which then hatched en masse. Look, pork tapeworm sounds like what Nicocada Avocado has. I mean, pretty sure that mofo eats like, 5,000 calories a day. He definitely has at least one pork tapeworm, and he's lucky that it's not 700 and it hasn't yet spread to his brain. Although if you watch his videos, he probably does have fucking 700 tapeworms in his brain, because as we will later discuss into the article, the motherfucker with 700 tapeworms in his central nervous system ended up getting seizures, spastic attacks, and all other types of neurological symptoms because the worms were feasting on his brain tissue. Fucking gruesome. But let me continue. So this is the brain. This is not the clearest picture. There will be way better fab material coming up. The man's brain showed a colony of the creepy worms, that's racist by the way, which would explain his fits and passing out. Not even joking, this is actually not racism, this is speciesism. No joke. Around where I live, recently there was a advertisement with stop speciesism. Speciesism. And look, I've never actually fucking heard of the word speciesism, of course species, but yeah, it actually makes sense because everybody's always talking about racism, sexism, xenophobia, all types of other left-wing talking points. But speciesism was something that doesn't often get talked about. So it's about time to get the speciesism discussion going on. But yeah, if you're calling the worms creepy for eating somebody's brain, that's speciesism. Can't. Let me continue reading. Ooh, another voice crack. I have these voice cracks often. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Clenching my asshole too much, apparently. This is the chest. A scan of the patient's chest shows the worms are everywhere. And this made me think, because if you have fucking 700 tapeworms around your chest muscles, and maybe a little bit less, because maybe the majority of the worms were in the central nervous system, aka brain and spinal cord, but you must have the world record of bench press. If you have 700 tapeworms increasing your muscle density and strength, you might actually break the world record. So Hafthor Bjornsson, aka the Mountain, or Eddie Hall, I don't know who holds the bench press world record right now and who injects the most testosterone, trenbolone, whatever it is, growth hormone, insulin, peptides. But if you just have 700 tapeworms in your chest muscles, you probably will have the bench press world record. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. A close-up of a tapeworm's head. Kind of looks like a glory hole. I don't want to be disgusting, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I should just stop talking about my fantasies. I know that's not my I actually don't watch that disgusting shit, but Not even a joke, because I look for weird news articles. Believe me, I saw the other week, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, an article of, it was some disgusting site like YouPorn offering the government money to produce, aka build, glory holes. Fucking Google that before you think I'm crazy or nasty as fuck. They're actually offering money to the government. I believe it was around 300k or something to build glory holes in which they could then record content. Very productive content, I guess, but fucking disgusting. And if the government accepts the money, you'll know for sure that Joe Biden wears butt plugs. I mean, then you know for sure. But I don't know if it was done in the US or they offered the money to the government in the US or another country. I don't know. The construction worker was treated in Hangzhou, capital of Zhejiang province in East China, is likely to have contracted the nightmarish infestation after eating half-cooked pork. That's fucking haram as fuck, innit? I mean, yeah, that's what we all know. Initially, he went to the doctor after suffering from regular seizures, foaming at the mouth. He might have just subscribed to Pokimane on Twitch, and that's what the foaming was about, because there's still, again, I will never understand it, but there's still so many ultra cook lords who, pay like $5 a month to subscribe to Pokimane on Twitch. And he probably would be foaming from that as well, but let me continue. Foaming at the mouth and also fainting seemingly at random over the past few weeks. In a bid to find out what was causing these symptoms, Dr. Huang Yiyangrong from the affiliated hospital of Zhejiang University School of Medicine ordered brain MRIs. Sounds kind of crazy, I'll order a brain MRI from Amazon to fucking find a tumor or 700 tapeworms. I mean, I love how they use the word order a brain MRI. It just sounds funny. But yeah, like I said, I mean, this is all the neurological symptoms that he was suffering from because of the 700 tapeworms in his brain eating the tissue. And that's like what I said. He was regularly suffering from seizures. You have like tonic-clonic, petite mal seizure or an absent seizure. What's Mitch McConnell, the fucking, what is he called? Not the Speaker of, no, that's not Speaker of the House, that's Kevin McCarthy. I don't know what he is, but he's an old fucking wanker. And he had 2 speeches in 2 consecutive months where he had a petite mal seizure, aka absent seizure, or a fucking stroke, but you probably will have way worse symptoms if it was actually a stroke, but it was probably an absent seizure. But I don't know if he had, Mitch McConnell, I don't know if he had 700 tapeworms eating his brain, but maybe, I don't know. He definitely wants to fuck Nancy Pelosi, and that probably will get you tapeworms. But let me continue. So those are the neurological symptoms that you probably will have if tapeworms are eating your brain. So he got ordered a brain MRI, and then they revealed Mr. Zhu's brain and chest were riddled with cysts of the pork tapeworm. Lovely. That's just amazing. That's what you would eat on Thanksgiving, the cysts of the pork tapeworm. And by the way, if you're wondering, it came from his digestive tract into the bloodstream and then ultimately to the central nervous system, obviously, via the carotid artery, or am I saying that wrong? I believe so. But these acts, I'm pretty sure, in the digestive tract or the stomach initially, are resistant to acid and other types of enzymes, and that's why those acts can ultimately go via the bloodstream to the brain, and that's why it survived. But other types of acts would get destroyed by the stomach acid. That's a fucking nice spoiler alert, cunt. It was thought that the larvae entered Mr. Zhu's body from his digestive system and made their way to his head via his bloodstream, feeding on his brain. Lovely, report said. Like, it just sounds amazing, feeding on his brain. Dr. Huang said he not only had numerous space-occupying lesions, you mean plural, in his brain, he also had cysts in his lungs and chest muscles. Like I said, the chest for the bench press strength. tapeworms will definitely help with the chest day bulking season. Just eat your undercooked pork and it will be way better than your pre-workout. Different patients respond differently to the infection depending on where the parasites occupy. That makes sense. In this case, he had seizures and lost consciousness. But others with cysts in their lungs might cough a lot. Yeah, obviously, if the worms are fucking eating your brain tissue, you'll most likely have seizures, foaming at the mouth. What else? Shaking, insomnia, memory problems. But if it's in your lungs, yeah, you probably will smoke more than somebody who smokes a pack a day. Or meth, in case of Florida, man. We killed the larvae using anti-parasitic drugs and prescribed medication to protect his organs and reduce any side effects brought on by the treatment. Okay, so this is Dr. Huang Yiangrong. Loves a good old dong in his rear, I think. This is on the right side, examining the scans with a colleague. So this left bloke is probably an intern. He doesn't really look old enough to be a doctor yet, especially when he's probably beating his meat to the tapeworm footage. I don't know, but because at least where I'm from, usually when you're officially a doctor, what most people would consider doctor, not Dr. Jill Biden, when she's not actually a fucking doctor. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's not a medical doctor, right? That's what you call doctor's degree or medical doctor. But where I'm from, a medical doctor, you probably would have to be at least 30 years old to really be a doctor. And this bloke looks like he still plays League of Legends for 12 hours a day. So I don't think he's a full doctor, probably a medical internship. Dr. Huang added, Phase 1 of the treatment has now concluded after a successful week. Now we will run further tests. It is still unclear whether Mr. Zhu will suffer any long-term effects from the tapeworm infection. Well, you can bet your fucking ass he will. I mean, I hope not for him, but if you have for many months, I believe, 700 tapeworms feasting on your brain tissue, you probably will have some long-term damage, especially if the tapeworms probably destroyed gray matter as well, and the myelination of neurons cannot be regenerated. They can be in the peripheral nervous system by the Schwann cells. Myelination can regenerate, but not in the central nervous system, so your brain and spinal cord. That's fucking gruesome because, if you smoke meth on the weekends, for example, you will have excitotoxicity of dopaminergic neurons, aka they get too much energy because dopamine can be excitatory. Then they'll die from pro-inflammatory cytokines or just from the fucking stress of excitation. But they can never regenerate because neurogenesis happens, but only in very small concentrations and only in areas like the hippocampus. But brain damage anywhere else could be devastating because you can't, also the myelination, the insulating material around the axons of neurons cannot be regenerated. So don't get 700 tapeworms eating your brain tissue. Okay? Earlier in the year, we reported on a teenager who died after tapeworms burrowed into his brain. Lovely place to burrow. Yes, I also read this article, but I haven't reviewed it yet. But I might. I mean, this is basically the same article, but in this case, the teenager, true tragic story, I mean it, had so many fucking tapeworms that they couldn't even give anti-parasitic drugs, because if they did, there would be too much inflammation in the central nervous system, which would have killed him anyway. So they just watched him, they just watched the tapeworms devour his brain and fucking did nothing because they couldn't really do anything. I do believe they gave opioids to reduce the pain and seizures and whatever. I do believe they gave GABAergic compounds as well to reduce the potential of seizures from the tapeworms eating his prefrontal cortex or whatever, striatum. But the point is, this bloke actually could not be saved because he had so many fucking worms, enough to take over an entire city, that they couldn't give antiparasitic drugs because there would be too much inflammation and it would kill him anyway. Doctors at the E-Sikh Medical College and Hospital in Faridabad, India, fucking bloody motherfuck bitch, sent the teenager for scans. So this was about the teenager who actually died. And the results of an MRI left them stunned. It showed his brain was dotted with parasitic cysts caused by a severe tapeworm infection. Yeah, don't eat undercooked pork or don't eat it at all. Oh yeah, so here's the picture of all the... Like, the previous picture you saw, you didn't see much white. Like, let me scroll up. Yeah, so this is not very much white supremacy because you... Yeah, I mean, you can still see the worms, but not as much as this motherfucker. And I feel bad, honestly. No, I swear it. I feel bad for him because he actually died. Because he had so many fucking parasites, tapeworm cysts, that the drugs wouldn't work. Because it would, again, I said this for the 4th time, too much inflammation and he would die from it anyway. A teenager died after doctors discovered dozens of tapeworm cysts had buried. So not only just via the carotid arteries in his bloodstream, in his cerebral arteries, but they actually buried into his gray matter and also white matter. So no, you can't be safe, and it's actually tragic. Had buried into his brain, causing him to suffer violent seizures. Yeah, okay, so this is the end of the article. Ooh, don't censor this video, YouTube, please. Thank you. Thank you all for watching this shit video. It was, again, an insanely peculiar, disgusting video, but I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.